We're not going to analyze the book at all because we're going to let you kind of just...
Soak that in.
Yeah.
Soak that. We could have read Glenn Beck's new book.
Oh, yes. But I haven't bought it because I don't buy coasters.
Yeah. Fair enough. But no, Brave New World is a wonderful novel.
So, it's pretty great. Just the whole idea that we, life would be easy, we would have set ideals because there are... Whether we want to believe it or not, not everyone can be an astronaut or a scientist. We need those people who kind of...
are at the bottom.
Yeah. But everyone has a set. But the thing is, they predetermine it. So...
Yeah, the idea of should you really be setting out to tell your children before they've formed any opinion of their own, well, this is really what you want.
Yeah.
That's a detrimental kind of thing, definitely.
And of course, Orgy Porgy.
Which we've mentioned on the show before. Orgy Porgy.
Just because it's the greatest name for anything ever.
Yes, I've checked. It's better than Tensegame Ante Nocturne, which is a title of a video game I love saying.
Samajimi Mamimi.
Samajimi Mamimi is
better than that.
We'll get to anime.
We'll analyze the shit out of Fully Cooley
when
I get there.
Oh, that'll be a number of episodes.
That'll be an epic saga.
Of 6 episodes each. An hour for every half hour of unpacking that show.
Little antidote. We were watching once episode 3, and it took us an hour and a half to get through that episode. Just because we would pause it and just analyze the crap out of whatever just happened. Oh man. It was great.
I was just going to mention one other thing about Huxley.
Yeah.
As I find this very strange and a little bit of a shame is there's a certain thing called the halo effect of death, which is basically many times when you die, if something else happens at the same time that's more important, people will just not notice or forget.
Oh, no, that's true.
And sadly for Huxley, I don't know why I'm pointing at that book. That's not Huxley. Sadly for Huxley, he and the other British science fiction writer who wrote kind of the diametrically opposite version of a future in 1984, George Orwell. George Orwell and Huxley both died in November 1963, the same day Kennedy was assassinated. And so just no one kind of gave a shit because the president just got his head exploded. The same thing happened to Bram Stoker. He died 2 days after the Titanic sank, and no one could give a fuck about fucking Dracula guy dying. So, there you are. That's a history thing I like.
I have to care about Rose, don't I?
Rose was
she threw that diamond off the bridge, which symbolized love, or her letting go of people. I'm sorry, I can't say it in a joking manner anymore, just because I hate the ending so much.
Oh, where she throws it away.
It pisses me off.
That she wasted all that?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I watched it, I think that was like the first time I saw a sex scene. Was
like one of your French girls.
Yeah, and then you just see a car. That was what made it trashy to me. I realized they're already on a luxury cruise ship, but then he said, "I'm gonna go in the back of a car and do this," and then you just see the hand on the steamy. Yeah, that's like, I don't even know what to compare that to. That's like, I don't know, your girlfriend is the president's daughter, and you're in the White House, and then she says, pulls out a condom, and then she said, "I want to do it in the back of your Corolla." That's
in the back of your Pinto.
Yeah. But anime, that's a thing we talk about.
Anime is a thing. It's a thing that really exists.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our firsts, our hymen-breaking animes.
Okay. I think it was Yu Yu Hakusho.
What was it that sold you about that?
The finger that turns into a gun.
Oh, the finger gun?
That's great. That's it gave a new word to me for finger bang. And that means two things.
Did it have kind of the same, did it have harem elements on that show? Because I didn't watch it very good. I don't think I watched it very
not really.
Because I remember they played Yu Yu Hakusho along with Tenchi Muyo.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And that had a lot of, there are so many girls who want to do me, I don't know what to do.
Oh, doesn't everyone have this problem?
Isn't this a problem everyone has?
There were a lot of panties.
There were a lot of panties.
I don't know, I just remember Yu Yu Hakusho just because of the cool fight sequence. And like,
Not the
there's
story.
this dude they introduced in a way where the only scene you see him is him flicking an eraser. And then you follow that eraser and it hits a dude in the head and knocks him out. Like, knocks him the fuck out because they have to give him into an ambulance.
Wow.
They take off and they're like, holy crap, what happened to you? Almost like a bullet. It was close to being a bullet hole, but it was like an indentation into his head.
Oh.
It's like, oh, I found this. And it's an eraser. Like, it's revealed to you it's an eraser. He almost killed him with a freaking eraser. I was like, yes, he's so badass.
What is your first anime?
Sailor Moon.
Yeah!
It was Sailor Moon. That was my first impression of anime.
Theme, tell us about the theme music. Because I remember it has a very distinct theme.
Theme music.
It was something like, it was something high pitched and that you could dance. I like it because it had a tune and you could dance to it.
So I can slow dance with myself. And just rub myself all over.
Like that. What's the kid on Bob's Burgers?
That's great.
Slow dancing.
That's how you dance with Sailor Moon. He loves slow dancing, but he only loves slow dancing with himself.
And then just that, I like that, and then Tina's leaning in, and then falls on her face next to, doesn't notice. He's so into.
Just,
anything you remember particularly about your beginnings in anime with that Sailor Moon?
With Sailor Moon. I remember my favorite was Sailor Uranus.
She was a wonderful...
Character.
Yes, she was.
Character.
I actually...
Both of them.
I actually started watching Sailor Moon a little bit as it was... Like, they stopped showing it eventually. It was winding down because I had a friend who religiously watched all the anime that old Cartoon Network had. And he was like, oh yeah, you know, two of them are like lesing up together. And I said, that seems like a thing I want to at least see once. And I don't know, nothing that different in any remarkable way. I guess that's a thing.
At that point, I thought all animes were like that.
That all animes had at least one lesbian couple?
Yes.
They're all like Bleach.
Yeah.
What does Bleach mean? What does that title mean?
I personally hold it's because...
His hair.
Because
I've heard that's a theory.
His hair. Even though he doesn't bleach it, it's his natural hair color.
What does that have to do with the story?
It's his nickname. His name is like Strawberry, like for his hair color.
That's why they call it Strawberry.
Yeah.
What does that do with the story?
What story?
I'm sure.
What's the story?
Yeah.
What is the story?
The story's like he
Besides, he's a Soul Reaper, and
Like Soul
he's just
Eater?
doing shit.
I think that's basically it. It's like it's like Ghostbusters with swords.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I never liked Bleach.
That's fair enough.
I love
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
I watched all this stuff on Netflix just to give it a shot. There's fighting scenes that on the level of like Dragon Ball Z epicness.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna watch 5 episodes of them talking about going to fight and reacting to it, and then before they show 5 minutes of fighting.
I genuinely did like Bleach, but I found that there was way too much filler for me to keep up with it. Because there are whole seasons of that that is just no story. It's just kind of... And then this happened.
Yeah.
And that
Plus
is...
the characters never grow in any way.
They don't really mature very, very significantly. That's why, I mean, an anime like Death Note.
I love Death Note.
Wow. That story is all about adapt or die.
Yeah.
Literally.
I'm still holding that the best episode is Light trying to talk the woman into giving him her real name.
That's a good episode.
And then makes her commit suicide. That was the most intense episode I've seen in that show.
I think my favorite of that series was probably the episode where L realizes that he can't ever prove that Light is Kira. He knows it's Kira, and he knows that he's going to die soon. He's lost.
Yeah.
And then they come out from the storm, and then they stop on the steps, and he uses like his t-shirt or something to clean his feet. And everyone else who saw that was confused for some reason. I thought, oh, that's kind of an obvious allusion, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought it's messianic. He Light views himself as messianic, so that would make sense symbolically. But my first anime was kind of FLCL.
Oh, okay.
Kind of.
Oh, I think you told me this story.
Basically, I was younger, and it was.
You were Ian Jr.
I was Ian Jr. And no, I do not subscribe to your fourth dimensional view of time space. It's sort of a ball more than an event. But anyway, I was clicking through, and there was the 6th episode was on, and it was right in the middle. So I just saw like this huge muscular naked guy from behind.
So it's Animus.
Animus, and there's narration over it as this like man coyly is slightly turned, and I was like, this looks like something I would want to watch, but click. This is, and then the first anime like I watched a whole episode of was Inuyasha.
Okay.
That was my.
I've seen your collection.
That was my starter, and that was back when you had to pay like $100 for a box set of anime.
Yeah.
It was like ridiculously priced because like the market was newish, and like it was ridiculous. And I felt, I don't know about you, if you ever had this, but at least for a handful of people around my age, there was like a porn-like guilt about liking anime. Because I was like at an age where I understood that liking cartoons was not normal. Like,
I get it.
You have hair now. You're not supposed to like cartoons. And I was like, I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm pretty sure this cartoon wasn't meant for hairless children.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I immediately got into Fooly Cooly, and I believe that it's personally the best animated product ever.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, by far.
I'm super picky when it comes to anime. Like, I can't... Like, it has to have a good story. Like, all this, I'm super pompous and an asshole about it. But Fooly Cooly is, like, my favorite. It's the apex.
Can we talk more about nudity and animation? Eden of the East.
Best intro ever. Best intro ever.
Great
Let me. I'm not gonna even tell you the plot because the plot has nothing to do really with the intro. But the intro is this girl throwing a coin over the gate of the White House, trying to make it in to the fountain, just because to say she did and make a wish, and these cops stop her, like they think she's doing some illegal act, and she gets all nervous. All of a sudden, this guy across the street starts yelling, "Hey!" and is waving a little pistol around and completely butt naked, just nothing, and he's waving across these cars with a gun and his phone in his hand, and just telling, "Hey, look over here," and then boom, Eden of the East starts out.
And I would
everything
say
that happens after.
At that exact moment when because you showed it to me, Chris showed it to me, I was watching and I said, "Boom! I'm hooked." There is more dick per capita than I've been used to in a while. I gotta get all of this in my eye parts. This is
Bars was censored, but like just the notion.
Yes, we should warn you. It's not like the Venture Brothers. You don't see full sack.
No,
it's We'll save the Venture Brothers for another episode.
We'll talk more about Fooly Cooly next time because we're probably going to Anime Expo soon, and they're doing Fooly Cooly thing, and I'll talk more about it.
And I will also I got to interview Neil Gaiman a little bit.
Oh, we didn't get to that.
It's a shame we didn't get to that because he's done great science fiction and fantasy, and but if you'd like to read the interview. Modern Corsair is a lit mag I'm putting out shortly, and for those listening who would want to pick up a copy, will come out in mid-fall, I'm going to say.
Awesome.
And people will probably be able to get it through the Vasquez if you know them, and we might even set up an online thing later when we work out the details of that. Modern Corsair. It's the future. And I'll explain that title later.
Alright, so, well, it seems like the Batmobile couldn't be finished, but we got a rental, and it's the Mach 5. Awesome. So, let's make our way to Mach 5 and get out of here.
Da-da-da-da-da! Yeah!